Hey everybody, happy Monday. Welcome to another episode of Art Ventures at Home. I'm Mrs. Grass with your daily dose of art. I hope you had a great weekend. On the docket for today's lesson is Jello printing. Yeah, that jiggly stuff you like to eat. We're gonna make some art with it today. All right. What is Jello printing? First, before we talk about the Jello part, let's talk about the printing part. It's something that we talked about before when we did our recycled printmaking. Basically, a printmaker, which is what I am. I went to school to be a printmaker. It's how I make my art. A printmaker makes a stamp, and that stamp has a special name. We call it the matrix or a printing plate. And those printing plates could be made of all sorts of materials. We talked about the recycled parts, right? We did that with our recyclable lesson. But we also said that printing plates can be made of wood and stone and metal and styrofoam and cardboard and even Jello. Yeah, our printing plate today is made of Jello. This is a tray I have, and this is what I use often for making Jello plates. This is a disposable Jello plate. Like this I can't keep for very long, but it's made of Jello. It smells so good. I made it out of mango gelatin, Jello. I'll show you what I used. And I just made a condensed version of it. So I cut the water in half. It called for 4 cups. I only used 2. And now instead of being jiggly, it's just a very firm sort of cold, clear surface. It's so strange, but it makes for an unbelievable mono printing plate. And a mono printing plate is a plate that you can only get one print from. So I'm going to show you how to take this, the Jello part, and make a print with it. Be sure to have all your supplies and then we can get started. Right, Jello, jiggly Jello. Actually, this Jello isn't very jiggly at all. It shouldn't be when you're using a gelatin plate or a plate made of Jello. It should be firm. It should bounce right back. It shouldn't make any indents. It's gonna feel sort of like firm skin, if you will. It's strange. It's not jiggly at all. And I used gelatin mix. And all I did was I cut the amount of water in half so that I had a really condensed version of gelatin that would firm up to the level of stiffness I need in order to print with it. I poured it in a tray and I let it sit for a couple of hours in the refrigerator, and now it's ready. I can roll ink on it. I can paint on it. I can place things on top of it, stamp it, whatever I want to do to make my prints. You also need to have some paint or some printing ink in order to create a print on your Jello. I am using printmaking ink because I happen to have that here. I'm a printmaker, so I have it. If you don't have this, no worries at all. Get out your acrylic paints or your craft paints. They're going to work just as well. And I need something to apply the ink or the paint to my Jello with. I have a roller here that I'm going to use, but it can also be put on with a foam roller or a paintbrush. You just need to cover your printing plate with your ink or your paint. These will definitely make some sort of texture that will be seen when you do your print, but that's part of using Jello as a printing plate, so no big deal. The last thing you're going to need is some paper cutouts, and that's where the scissors come into play that I asked you to make sure you have. These are a slew of paper cutouts I've collected over the years when printing with other students and other artists. And we have printed many different themes of Jello prints before. So there's sea creatures and animals in here. I mean, a lion sitting here on the top. And basically we just cut these out of paper, and as you can see, we can save them after we're done printing and reuse them. So I have a ton of really great cutouts that I'm going to use for printing today. You can make those any shape, size that will fit your printing plate and any subject matter. It's up to you. You can also use stamps today to make and create images on your Jello. I have some really great old batiking stamps here. They're used for wax, but they're also really great for Jello printing. And I'll show you how to use those. You can use any rubber stamps you have. They will work just fine. So gather some stamps if you'd like. And once you have all of your supplies ready, we can begin printing. All right, so easy peasy lemon squeezy. I'm just going to put some of my paint or my ink on a tray of some kind or a paper plate that I can spread it out with. I have a roller here that I can spread it onto my Jello plate with. But if you don't have a roller, no big deal. Get your paintbrush out. Try that. I am going to take my roller and I'm going to spread it right across the surface of my Jello until it looks pretty covered. You do not need it to be completely opaque. We can still see through it and it's still going to do its job. Okay, so I've put a layer of my paint or ink. Now I'm going to have fun with some of my cutouts. I'll put a lizard down. I'll take a butterfly. And I'll show you one of these stamps. I'm going to take this guy. With stamps, I'm not going to leave them on the Jello. I'm just going to press them where I want them. I'm not going to press too hard, and then I'm going to lift, and it's going to remove some of the ink, so when I go to print this, that shape will be there. Love, love, love using stamps. Okay, now, here we have some fun. Okay, I'm going to put my paper right down on top of this. I'm going to give it a gentle rub. And I'm going to peel up my paper to reveal my design. Ta-da! Oh my gosh, I'm so in love with this. Jello printing is literally so addicting and exciting. Once you start, you're not going to be able to stop. But wait, there's more. So I've printed this once, okay? Now I can remove these shapes, okay? Could set this print aside. I'm going to remove these shapes. I can get another piece of paper and I can put it on top and print again. Peel it up. And yeah, you get a second print. Look at that. It's lighter in its coloring for sure, but it's there. So this is when I'm going to break out a second color, and I'm going to start printing different images over one another until I get a picture that I really like, a composition I really like. I'm going to just go crazy printing, and you can check out what I'm doing while I'm doing it. It's really just the same thing over and over again. Applying your paint or ink, putting stencils or stamping things down, placing your paper over it, and removing the paper to reveal your image. If I was using any leaves or botanica in any way, like a flower petal or a a piece of a plant, I would do it just the same way I did my stencil. I'd place it down and then I'd lift it up and it will create the coolest replica of that leaf. Here, let me show you. So here is a Jello print of a leaf. Okay, you can see sort of some stamping going on here. You see my red leaf. There's one of those my snake stencil is hiding back there. And one of my stamps. Okay, this is an entire plant, you know, like a whole stem with a bunch of leaves. And then when I printed it and peeled it up, this became sort of like a window. I saw the outline of the leaf. And then when I printed it a second time, you know, I peeled off the paper, I took my leaves off of the Jello and I made the "but wait, there's more" print, and it showed me all of the details, the veins and everything in these leaves. So it was really, can be really, really incredible. Okay. I'm gonna keep printing and I'll show you what I've made, doing the same process, applying the ink, putting down the stencils, placing the paper on top, peeling everything off and printing that ghost, what's left behind. You can see there's like little bubbles in here, little imperfections. I love that part of Jello printing and I'm just going to go with that. I'm not going to worry about it as I print. All right, so I have rolled some ink onto my Jello printing plate, and I wanted to show you what it looks like when you use some leaves. I love making these on greeting cards and making little miniature pictures of botanical stuff. So I'm making a little miniature one here. I want to share with you what it looks like. So the way you would do it is the same way you do with the stencils. You just place down the leaves that you've chosen. You can even choose to include some cutouts or some stamps. I think I'll use a little bit of this paisley sort of stamp. I'm just gonna use the tip of it to create a little confetti around. Oh yeah, I love it. Looks great. And now I'm going to take my paper and put it right over the top. Okay. Going to give a gentle rub. I don't have to press really hard, smush really hard. It's going to be so tempting to want to poke a hole right in your Jello. Save that till when you're done. Poke away when you're done. Here is my botanical print, a little tiny one. Okay, but wait, there's more, because I can peel this up and I can peel this up and save them because I can continue printing with these, and put my paper down, gently rub, and it'll pick up that ghost image that's left behind. This is the most detailed print you'll get when you're doing A Jello print is that second print you make. And I can see all the little veins inside my leaves, the stem, all the little details come out. It's so cool. Such a cool way of printing. Okay, so I've been printing for a little bit now, and I've made some really interesting prints. I really, really love how the negative space was used in this one. And I wanted to show you that when you brush on your paint or your ink, you're going to see those brush strokes a little, but it's totally fine. It becomes part of your design. I love it. So this was put on with or created with a paintbrush. Love it. And this was the second print with an orange over it of a snake. And this was the first print to come from that. You can sort of see that sun hiding underneath the snake a little. But great way to learn about positive and negative space too. And we talked about that when we talked about Matisse and how he used his cutouts in a way that he would cut out a shape, but then notice how the removed shape from the paper, that negative space, also was an interesting shape, and he would use those. So right now, all of the negative space, the space around my shapes, are the color, and my shapes are white, revealing the color of the page. And if you pay attention to how that works out when you're printing, you can start to control what happens a little bit more. All right, printmakers. I hope you had a really great time Jello printing today. If you are waiting to the end of this video to test your printing skills out, awesome. You can watch it and rewatch it at your convenience to make sure that you know everything you need to know before you print. Try some botanical stuff out too. Get some leaves. I know it's a gloomy day and you probably don't want to go outside, but maybe you have a houseplant or two that you can snag a leaf from. Just make sure it's okay with mom or dad, and get your supplies ready. If you need to make Jello today, okay, because you're going to need to make it. It's not, you can't use a Jello jiggler cup. You can't use like a Jello cup. You need to make a condensed version. That means you're using less water to make your printing plate. So you're going to need some help making this today. When you've printed, when you've created something, tag us, share what you've made. We want to know what you're creating at home after you watch Art Ventures at Home lesson. We're at Gallery North LI, hashtag Art Ventures at Home, hashtag Art Ventures. If you're watching on YouTube, please do not forget to hit like and subscribe so you can keep up to date with all of our current content, our daily dose of art. We air a video and lesson every weekday, Monday through Friday. And if you're feeling really good about giving, Gallery North could sure use your help, and we've just launched a new membership program, and that is an excellent way of giving back to the gallery and giving to yourself as well, because you could take advantage of all of the member benefits, especially when we reopen. We'd love to see you there. So if you're looking to donate today, why don't you get a membership? And remember, when you create, you feel really great. See you guys for tomorrow's lesson. Bye.